WNBA's Players Association scolds commissioner for not condemning Caitlin Clark's toxic fans. Cathy Engelbert, the WNBA's commissioner, faced harsh criticism on Tuesday for not condemning racism and homophobia, which was inevitably tied back to Caitlin Clark, a white player, and her fans. Here's what went down. During an appearance on CNBC's Power Lunch, Engelbert was asked about the added attention the WNBA has garnered since the introduction of Indiana Fever's No. 1 overall pick and Iowa sensation, Caitlin Clark. Engelbert addressed complaints of rising homophobia and racism that allegedly came with the skyrocketing popularity of Clark, a straight, white, and supremely talented player. In her first year, Clark elevated the Fever from the worst team in the league to a playoff contender, sold out arenas, and gifted the WNBA with its first real star. One of Clark's primary competitors, Angel Reese, has been vocal about being criticized by Clark's supporters as the two fought for Rookie of the Year considerations. With more fans that are drawn to the game based on Clark's popularity comes more outside commentary, thus more controversy, and even jealousy among WNBA players. Engelbert, who joined the league in 2019, didn't feed into the toxicity narratives surrounding the Clark and Reese rivalry. The comish regarded the added controversy as a natural byproduct of the WNBA's booming popularity, which Engelbert compared to the days of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird in the NBA. Simply put, Engelbert welcomed the diversity of commentary. She said, "One thing that's great about the league right now, we do sit at the intersection of culture and sports and fashion and music. WNBA players are really looked at now as cultural icons. When you have that, you have a lot of attention on you. There's no more apathy. Everybody cares. It is a little of that Bird magic moment, if you recall, from 1979, when those two rookies came in from a big college rivalry, one white, one black. So we have that moment with these two. But the one thing I know about sports, you need rivalries. That's what makes people watch. They want to watch games of consequence between games of rivals. They don't want everybody being nice to one another. Social media is different today than it was in 1979, when it didn't exist. I always tell the players, I was told a long time ago, if someone's typing something in, and you wouldn't ask their advice, ignore it. It's a balance, but certainly for marketing dollars, corporate partners are stepping up to endorse these players much more so than they were 5 years ago, because they see the benefit of having women and diverse women representing their brand. Unfortunately, Engelbert's even-keeled answer infuriated individuals focused on the identity politics side of the WNBA. This cohort of fans and influential figures around the WNBA has also been criticized for being incapable of giving Clark her credit over Reese due to not wanting to put down a black player in favor of a white player, a ridiculous notion. Engelbert faced criticism for failing to support her players by dismissing their allegations of toxicity. Feeling the backlash of her comments, Engelbert followed up her appearance on CNBC with a post on X to clarify her thoughts. Engelbert posted, "During a recent media interview, I was asked about the dark side of social media and online conversation about WNBA rivalries and race. To be clear, there is absolutely no place for hate or racism of any kind in the WNBA or anywhere else." In response to Engelbert's comments, the Women's National Basketball Players Association issued a statement that further criticized the commissioner. WNBA Executive Director Terry Jackson issued the strongly worded statement on social media, which Reese reposted on her Instagram stories. Jackson scolded Engelbert, claiming that hate speech is widespread and that Engelbert's answer should have acknowledged it. Jackson's statement read, in part, "Here is the answer that the commissioner should have provided to the very clear question regarding the racism, misogyny, and harassment experienced by the players. There is absolutely no place in sport or in life for the vile hate, racist language, homophobic comments, and misogynistic attacks our players are facing on social media. This is not about rivalries or iconic personalities fueling a business model. This kind of toxic fandom should never be tolerated or left unchecked. It demands immediate action, and frankly, should have been addressed long ago." Comments on the WNBA's Instagram post blamed Clark for the toxicity instead of the detractors undermining CC's positive impact on the league. "Caitlin Clark's fan base are the ones with the racism," one fan responded. Another fan added, "Has Caitlin Clark addressed her fans and the racism on social media? I think using her platform and privilege to speak out and be an ally would go a long way. The tacit reality is that Clark and Engelbert are also easy targets for a league dominated by African American and lesbian players. Because neither woman fits the WNBA's traditional mold, it's convenient to point the blame at them. WNBA should fire Cathy already, one fan adamantly stated. The WNBA has been breaking viewership and attendance records this season, thanks to Clark. Clark's popularity has boosted the WNBA's marketability. Still, the league struggles to prioritize growth by catering to triggered fans and figures around the sport. Fans and fellow WNBA players solely focused on identity politics often reduced the Clark and Reese rivalry to a discussion of black versus white. Las Vegas Aces star Aja Wilson previously claimed that Clark's appeal largely stems from being white. Caitlin disregarded the distractions, while other players perpetuated the storyline. "I think it's a huge thing," Wilson said. "I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. It really is because you can be top-notch at what you are as a black woman. But yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see." While competing against Clark and engaging in the rivalry, Reese framed social media jabs as shots against her character, despite her role in stoking the flames of the rivalry. Reese, drafted 7th overall by the Chicago Sky, is now sidelined for the year due to a wrist injury. While Reese wrestles with online hate, Clark has dealt with actual physical retaliation from bitter WNBA opponents. Off the court, Caitlin has drawn unnecessary criticism, such as from former player Cheryl Swoops, who can't separate race from her analysis of the Clark and Reese debate. Clark has shown incredible focus, blocking out all distractions and continuing to dominate on the court, unlike Angel Reese. "It's not something I can control, so I don't put too much thought and time into thinking about things like that, and, to be honest, I don't see a lot of it. Like I said, basketball is my job," Clark previously stated concerning off-the-court controversies. The WNBA has been fighting an uphill battle to gain relevancy for years due to its lack of star power. It seems like the WNBA has become so associated with being different that they are no longer focused on expanding their audience. They prefer to keep the weak appeal of the old guard instead of competing for attention with a young, up-and-coming star, who happens to be white. Now that they have found a solution in Clark, the WNBA and its leadership must embrace the rising fever star or miss out on capitalizing on a once-in-a-lifetime athlete.